Okay, best thing I do is just get going, I think. And I know I don't know everybody, but I know most of you. But my name's Steve, and along with Andy and Amanda, we sort of, especially, Andy does a lot of the legwork, supported by Amanda, and sort of, and I sort of chip in when I can. But it's great to see people. I've not been able to make the last 2 from work. I've been pretty gutted, so it's brilliant to see everybody. And what we'll do is I've got a list, and we'll just get going. Maybe if we can keep it to maybe a max of 4 minutes, which is still probably 4 minutes is still probably about 600 words of a story, or maybe 2 or 3 poems of decent, mid-length. If you want to do an epic, then please feel free to do an epic. Bear in mind that your next poem's a haiku, okay? Let's keep it real, all right. I'll just get around. I'll get around to everybody. I've got just let me bring my document up on screen. These are the people I've got down here. Andy sends me a list, and I'm just going to do the order of people on the first half. And if anyone doesn't want to be on first or needs to be on first half and I've left you out, then just let me know. So these are the people in order. I've got Roy Page to kick us off, and Roy would be brilliant at that. I hope he's okay with that. I've got Mary Cunningham next. I've got Will Stevenson. I've got Maria. I've got Andy N. I've got Helena, is it? Not Helena, Helena?
It's Hellena. But
Hellena, yeah. Hellena. Okay, Hellena Jane. Don, Dolby, Tony, Kinsella, Fatima Lisbeth, Susan Darlington, Amanda Steele, and maybe we'll get Maria Flatherty in there as well. Okay, I'm going to come back onto view. People okay with that? Is that all right? Anybody saying, oh, I need to be on early, or
you missed me out, Steve, did you? Or did I miss it?
No, that's your second half, mate.
Okay, right.
So those people, mate, are posted are just going to be on first half. I was just wondering if we could. So the rest of you will be on the second half. So we'll have a break, maybe a comfort break or whatever you want to call it, 10 minutes maybe. And Reggie, just ease off the sauce, baby, okay? Okay, so first up is Roy Page. Roy.
Good evening. Can you hear me, yeah? Everybody hear me? Good stuff. Right, nice to see everybody. I'm going to do a bit of bragging today, because I happened to get myself a poem printed in a Manchester anthology this week. I don't know if you can see it. Buzzing Bards, Manchester. It's actually a great poetry book.
Well done, Roy.
And it's all about Manchester and the people from Manchester, but it's printed in New York. So I kind of think I'm an international acclaimed poet now. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm having that one anyway. So the poem that's been printed in that book of the Buzzing Bards is one that I wrote a few years ago about when I was a kid in Salford and growing up and seeing how it's changed over the years. So I'll give you that one first, and then I've got another one later. When I was a kid growing up in old Salford town, our street was always empty, with no cars to be found. There were play streets for the children playing kit can and rally-vo, and 20-a-side footy games. How times are different now. From the end of our street, you could see the docks and the Manchester Ship Canal, with ships bringing goods from around the world to buy and trade and sell. Thousands of men moved millions of tons of iron, stone and earth, building bridges and locks and digging the docks. They all came for the work. When Queen Victoria cut the tape in 1894, she opened up a gateway and the world stepped through the door. For 60 years, the docks were booming, but slowly, over time, ships got bigger, containers took over. There was a gradual decline. My Uncle Jack worked on the docks, driving a roll bell and laying down plates. For almost 20 years, he walked through those dock gates. When the docks were busy and work was aplenty, there was a sense of pride. But when the dock gates closed for the very last time, part of Salford died. Now today, 50 years on, it's quite a different scene. The dockers are gone, but in their place has risen Salford quays. They've saved the docks and fixed the locks and made the water clean. Yeah, Salford can be proud again of what it has achieved. It's a place where people live and work, once again the place to be, with museums, theatre, a media city, and a home for the BBC. A water sports centre with swans swimming by, buildings of glass reaching up to the sky, and across the water, hear the roar of the crowd, lies the Theatre of Dreams. So Matt would be proud. And if my Uncle Jack was here today, I know he would be pleased to see the progress that's been made down on Salford Quays. Okay, thank you. So this one's about growing up in Salford again. Me and my brother, Steve, who's always a little bit younger than me. We grew up in this little cobbled street. And because he was a bit younger than me, he was always Tonto when I was the Lone Ranger, or Robin when I was Batman. So it's all about, I'll try and remember this one, it's all about back in the day. That's what it's called. Racing to the house down the lobby, stopping with a sliding screech. Into the kitchen to ask me mum, what we having for tea? The answer was almost always the same. Shit with air on, or sugar. Now go and play out till I shout you, and keep an eye on your brother. Well, our kid was 3 years younger than me, and everybody knew him as Steve. But that day, he was Tonto, and he rode a black and white steed. On another day, we'd be Roman soldiers with homemade shields and sword, or Batman and Robin with batarang and mask. Ain't surprising what you can make with cardboard. Dad's home from work with his duffel bag full. In those days, there was always a fiddle. And we'd all sit down to egg and chips with a stack of bread and butter in the middle. We used to take it in turns to stand in the sink while my mum washed us down with a flannel. Then we'd scurry through to the open fire and my dad would rub us dry with a towel. We used to share a bed, me and our kid, so we weren't allowed a drink after tea, because every night it was almost certain that up each other's backs we would pee. They taught us good and bad, our parents, and sometimes the lessons were harsh. These days, you might call it child abuse. Back then, it was called a smacked arse. So I remember with fondness of those memories, back to that street where we would play, and a smile at the things I remember from my childhood back in the day. Thank you.
Wonderful, Finn. Wonderful, mate.
Thanks, Roy. Thank you.
Sorry, Roy. You're good, man.
Thanks, Roy. Okay, so our next poet, unless she's going to surprise me and do some flows, but our next poet is Mary Cunningham. Welcome, Mary.
Hi, everyone. Hiya. Thanks for that. I've got two. They're newish, so I've not rehearsed them well, so sorry, they're a bit rough around the edges. First one, called Lost in Amber, and to give you a bit of a clue, just to help you along, because if it was written on the page and you were reading it, I wouldn't bother, but it's about a child talking to a parent, so that just gives you an in. Okay. Lost in Amber. Were you to fire or embers born? I to embers and you before I? Did you rage and spit in youth and expire too early when I came? Was all breath given for me? Did you choke yourself in some nightshade room with the curtains drawn, no one to stoke. In the flicking orange lapping licks, baby birds open-throated fed on your flame. Tired tendrils stretching upwards round twig sap and log dust, till hunky lumps of coal turned seated to backlit rocks. The blackened ancestors have feasted again. The dead always demand their new. I see the sparks from your embers at times, and your embers still burn, but are buried in grey. How long have I got till ember? Can I help you remember your split heart, your amber youth? And you might say, it's time to give up the rage. Let someone new write their page. Some live as pages never to be burnt, and some live as pages to feed the familial flame. Let me blow my gentle breath on you as you fade. Okay, this next one, last one, is called We Cannot Halt the Register of a Human Voice. We place ourselves here, know that we will be whelmed with words, and we will let them flow to us, around us, in us, and some of ours will chime, and bells will tinkle in millions of cells, and we'll almost hear the vibration of our neighbours' bell plates ringing and feel the peal. And although our eyes see each other, it's our soul's orchestration, a temporary creation. Melody, clash, sharps, bass, flats. Will some rhyme take you from line to line? A steady climb to phonetic trapeze, alveolar acrobatics, fricative sibilance, bilabial elision, and some circumstance aiming to please, tease, conceive, synapse, relay tracks. We are radio transmitters back and forth, clicking on and off, Tibetan bowls, drums in the air till signal stops. We commute to our lives, track each other, spawn syllables, till one blows a conch from a mountaintop and we recall the tribe. That's it from me. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. That's lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah, Lost in Amber. That's my daughter's name, so I just thought I'd drop that in. So in particular, I like that one in particular. So thank you. Yeah, some excellent comments there from people. Yeah, please don't. Obviously, you don't need to be told to use the chat facilities, and you know, if you've got any publications coming out or anything else, or you want to put any links on there, then please feel free. You know, maybe to a YouTube channel or just to, you know, just to a website where a couple of your poems or stories might be on. So yeah, please, and obviously you've got the reaction thing as well, haven't you, with the applause and stuff.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and I was just going to say something, and just this is not just all about me. I'm sorry about that, but I am building a website, so I will one day stick it in the chat room.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, you'd be welcome to do that. Okay, our next reader is, I've been informed Will's not been able to make it. He was on third. So our next reader is Maria Byrne. Welcome, Maria.
Hello. I've got a couple of poems, and this is something that I've recently had to deal with, and it's called Letting Go. Letting go is hard. Letting the past, others go is hard. Or children that might leave the nest, or letting people go to the sky. There is another acceptance, another grievance, another type of letting go that not everybody experiences. Letting go of the people who slowly vacate their minds, which only when the ghost of other people is left behind. And sitting back is hard when things are not in your control, and to accept that outcome, learning to accept is the hardest grief. Thank you. The other one is about snow. Snow can sculpt. Snow is crystals. Snow is a mess. Snow is a mass of white. Snow has no colour. Snow is a barrier. Snow is freedom to explore. Snow is fun. Snow is a nuisance. It's dangerous, cold, bitter. Snow is a blank page. It covers a landscape like a giant insulating blanket. Snow is warming in a chilly way, that flask of warming cordial of thoughts and future contemplation. And these snowflakes fall together like an interwoven jigsaw pieces fitting together, making a future you can't read yet. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. Thanks very much for that. Okay, I do intend to copy and paste these names onto the chat so you can see where you are. Our next poet is Andy N.
Cheers, Steve. Okay, 2 pieces tonight, so, and these have both got quite big links to each other. So the first one is quite an old piece actually now, but it's relevant for what we're doing in the second piece. And this is from the second book from a few years ago, The End of Summer. And this one, a few people, anyone knows Stretford will notice quite a lot of the road references in this, because you all, most of you know I was born in Stretford, obviously moved away a few years ago. So this is about where I grew up around Stretford, and this is called Migration. The flat near Longford Park is still a huge mystery and got demolished shortly after you moved. You don't remember much about Boss Lane East, apart from that one winter there, when the boiler kept breaking down, reducing the wind after floods of tears. You only really remember that first spring on Barton Road, when your football smacked your sister that hard in the face, your mother must have used 20 buckets of water to wash out the blood. By the time your brother arrived, you'd moved just up the road, and within a week of moving, ended up going to your nana's funeral and didn't stop crying during the wake. Ripon Road, where 2 of your cats are buried, was less happy, as was Chatsworth Road, which was opposite your old high school that nearly expelled your brother. Now, of course, you live in a different town, with memories like sails in the mist bleeding over the sunset, etched in the past like closed factories, windswept in a wordless language. And that's the first piece. Right. But the migration itself, as I said, is talking about when I moved on from town to town. Now, when I was younger, it's easy to admit this in hindsight, when I'm a bit older, is I wanted to get away from a lot of the background of my upbringing. So I was trying to move somewhere else when I was a lot younger. And so it made sense to do this poem now, which is quite recent, called Open Ground, which is about places I nearly lived at. Leighton, you asked me to move in with you when I was 20, but I couldn't do it, saying it wasn't right for me. And we drifted apart when you told me you felt the same about Manchester. 29 I was when the landlord asked me when I looked at that bedsit, 15 minutes walk from Greenwich Council, before the council then told me that the job was only temporary, and I didn't end up taking it, or the bedsit when I saw mice. 32 I was when I fell in love with Kemp Town and spent a month on and off your sofa and your ex-boyfriends before giving up when I couldn't get a job there and stumbled back to Manchester, our relationship in pieces. Peeling regrets in my heart every time I nearly moved away and ended up returning back, barely able to look at myself, inscribed in memories ramifying inside the enraged, pent-up emotions, telling myself each time it was for the best, casting in a victory over each segment in my life, wrestling in darkness with my sadness, leaving me facing the music every time I moved on, building home after home, whether on the coastline or crushed on the London Underground, streaming down the sunset until I found my real home, inside my heart, not inside a suitcase. That's me done, guys. See you all later.
Thanks, Andy. Did you live in Kemp Town?
No, didn't actually, but I knew I had an ex that lived down there, so when I was up for about that time in question there, I was up and down there quite a bit until I got a job around there.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Nice part of the world. Thanks for that, Andy. Cheers, thank you very much. Next up is Hellena Jane. Are you going to read from your new collection? Excellent. Is it? Yeah, I'll let you introduce it, even though Andy's told me what it's called. Okay. Welcome to Hellena Jane. Hellena Jane.
Everyone. So yeah, I used to come to actually Speakeasy was the first place I ever read poetry, and now I'm very excited to announce I actually have a novella out. I'll post a link in the chat afterwards. So yeah, I got the opportunity very luckily to publish this, and it's based on like femininity and kind of just about like a girl going through her life and she dies and you don't know whether it's someone's killed her or if it was suicide, and it's kind of up to you as the reader to decide. It's called The Winter of Our Femininity, and I'm going to read you the prologue. So the funeral was a steaming affair. The sun shines down in an undesirable way for such a sad occasion. Any other assembly of people would be happy, smiling with their faces tilted upwards to feel the gorgeous yellow warmth spread over them. No one here does that, and our black clothes absorbs the heat. It makes sweat runs down our backs, pooling in our seats. I stare at my black shoes. They have a scuff on them, probably from the pavement where I stumbled when walking here. I wish I could reach down and force it off with the rubbing of my fingers. What is everyone thinking of me? I shouldn't have come here, especially with a scuffed left shoe. Who does she think she is? They're probably thinking. That she didn't even know her. I want to address them and their stares. I knew her, I wanted to tell them. In her death, I knew her better than all of you, you murderers. I see Lottie is here. Her dress is far too short for such an occasion. Her body is slumped on Ed's, his arms holding up her body. She looks as if she'd not stopped crying. Her eyes are bloodshot, and her nose looks almost rubbed raw from the screwed up tissue she is holding in her hand. She looks like a mess. Good. Ed looks like as if he's doing better. In fact, I can tell he is. His jaw is set solid and tight, his mouth a fine line. He looks everywhere but the freshly dug grave, and the air holds the smell of the fresh dirt. The muscles in his arms look well defined once again, as they did back in our first year of classes. He's been working out, but who could work out so quickly after the death of a loved one? I wonder how he pictures her now. Is she a pile of broken bones on the patio floor with a pool of blood growing around her? Or is she the girl he used to fuck, slumped together in a small bathroom at parties? I think a lot about the moment he saw her, her blood spilling between the slates, washing away the dirt. His eyes were glossed over with some kind of knowledge, and his jaw was locked, the same way it is now. What do you know? He hadn't screamed the way I had, and I didn't even know her name. I hadn't touched her the way he had, and his life had been so mixed with hers. But he didn't even cry. Lottie had been different. She tried to touch the body. She was tried to hold it. Like an actress selling the final scene of a Shakespearean tragedy, she made the whole thing harder to look at, and the paramedics and the police had to pull her away. She clawed at them, and she had to warm her up, she told them. She was cold. She needed her. The body was no longer the star of the show. It was Lottie. Once again, she had solidified her status as leading lady as the body was whisked away. Varjak had been a similar case, but he didn't turn up to his first 2 weeks of lectures, and when he did show up, he made me wish he'd never come back. His clothes were crumpled, and to be near him was to smell a mix of urine and vodka. He stumbled his way through his slides and collapsed in his seat halfway through, his tears choking him and making him cough. I didn't want to comfort him like the other girls in class. I wanted him to feel what he had made her feel, but his tears didn't last long. He found a new girl soon after. Today he stands close to her. She whispers something to him, her long blonde hair swishing forth with her motions, capturing the light. She didn't care for where she was. His eyes gleam. Her death means nothing would change for him. And he's here, I presume, to make sure her secrets that she threatened to spill would stay buried with her. The family stands close to the hole as her remains are lowered in. I close my eyes tight. I try to think of happy places, happy things, but I only see her open eyes, so surprised with the pain of her fall. I see what her body must look like now, rotting and pale. Her eyes, though, her eyes are still the same. I hear someone let out a sigh of relief from behind me. I whip my head around, but I can't tell who it is. As I turn back, the family throws soil on the coffin. I hear a whisper, meant to be quiet, but loud enough for the second row to hear. I'm not sad she's dead. So thanks, guys.
That's great stuff. Thank you for that. Thank you. Don't forget to post some links on who's publisher.
It's Protractual Publisher. It's just a small company set up like by two girls from the University of Manchester.
Okay, cool.
And they're really great and which is really nice. So it's kind of a bit of a...
Well, congratulations. And yeah, you know, it's great to see someone who, I know you've been coming, you know, I remember a few years ago when you came to Speakeasy in Stratford. So you came a few times, but you've come a few times over the years. So it's brilliant to see you doing, you know, you're doing well. So good luck with it all.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to hear everyone else's work.
Great. Brilliant. Okay. Our next reader is, I've got to bring up the doc up again, I'm sorry, is a document's called Roy Page. You're the first word, you're the first name, right? Next up is Don Dolby. Welcome, Don. Good to see you.
It's all right. You can hear me now, probably. Thank you, Steve. It's my first time reading on Speakeasy, so thank you for that. I've got a shortish poem and then a bit of prose. They link together, and I have to say the prose was inspired by me hearing quite a bit of Steve's flash fiction on a number of Zoom sessions last year. So I hadn't really done any prose, so I thought I'd have a go at that. But the poem sets the scene, if you like. So the poem is called Personal Cloud. Is it a friend? Is it a foe? It follows me wherever I go, rarely far from me, never letting me be, cannot ever be really free from my own personal cloud of despondency. Never too heavy, but always around, ever there, but never a sound. Is it depression or just a touch of the blues? Melancholia describes it well. My melancholic bubble just above my head, my own personal cloud that I just cannot lose. Perhaps it is my inspiration. Perhaps it is my muse. Perhaps it helps me write these lines. Perhaps I do not want to lose this cloud that hovers above me, my own personal cloud of despondency. And the reason it links with the prose is because when I was searching around for a way of sort of writing something, I hit upon the possibility of having conversations with my personal cloud. So I've written 2 or 3 now, but this was the first one I wrote. Why are you sitting there at a blank screen? My personal cloud said to me. I'm trying to write like Steve, I said. Why? Well, not like Steve, as in copying, I said, more as inspired by. Well, get on with it then, said my cloud. It's not that easy, said I. It's just words, isn't it? Everybody uses the same words, don't they, said the cloud. Just take them out of the word basket and get them on the page. Just take them out of the word basket? The word basket, I exclaimed. Yes, said Cloud. Just dip your hand in and grab a handful. Now I thought about this, and yes, it's true. There are a finite number of words to use, unless you make some up yourself, of course. So I dipped in my hand and I grabbed a handful of words. I arranged them on the page. They made no sense. I tried again. Another handful, scattered them on another page. Still, they made no sense. I can't do this, I said to my cloud. What would Steve do? Said my cloud. He would use the words from the Spain basket, wouldn't he? I said, well, yes, I suppose so. I tried again. This time I didn't dip my hand into the word basket. I used the words I already had on the page. I moved them around into different shapes. And all of a sudden I discovered the secret. It's not the words you use, but the order in which you use them. Out of an ugly jumble of words, a picture began to emerge, a beautiful picture which became a work of art. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Don. It's great. I didn't realise it was your first time here because obviously, well, I've not seen you for a while, but obviously I have seen you at several events.
Yeah.
It's difficult with the geography of it because obviously the event I see you at mainly is one that's run from New Mills, and I know you run one from Buxton.
That's right.
Really, it's just in your living room now, isn't it? The geography.
It's so easy to join all sorts of different ones. Yes, that's right.
No, that was super. That I'm glad you were inspired to write flash fiction as well.
Yeah.
So that's a great effort. So that's brilliant, and thanks for sharing it.
Keep on trying to do some more.
Yeah,
thanks.
No, that's the only way you get better. Cheers.
That's right.
Brilliant, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, next up is someone who's been to Speakeasy before, the highly entertaining, gifted Tony Kinsella.
Thanks, Steve. I'm just thinking there might be a marketing opportunity with a T-shirt saying, "What would Steve do?" I just want to plug a couple of events which the poems are going to be relevant to, and I'll stick it in the chat box in a minute. But I've got 2 events coming up the week after next. The first one is with Sean Fallows, the poet in a wheelchair, and it is that way round. And it's quite a provocative title. It's a show called Debased, Demonic and Disabled, and it's all about Sean, really. I'm just going to host it. But we're going to look at attitudes to disability in the media and films and TV. And Sean, we've done a couple of rehearsals, and you've just got to come and listen to Sean. As well as being a brilliant poet, he's just absolutely incredibly articulate on the topic. So I'll put it in the chat box, but it's a week on Tuesday, the 16th of February on Zoom. And because I'm hosting it, I thought it could be a bit dodgy. I've been trolled for doing things like referencing George Floyd and taking the knee, and people accuse me of virtue signalling. So I thought I'd do a poem at the start of that event called Virtue Signalling. The thought police have cautioned me for my excessive empathy, for having the audacity to signal virtue. It seems I'm meant to hurt you. They say it's just embarrassing to play the Good Samaritan. They've served me with a writ and labelled me a lame duck. Seems I shouldn't give a flying fuck. Must quell my wishy-washy liberal bullshit in a dog-eat-dog rat race. Survival of the fittest where I should feed my own fat face. It's all part of being British. Being true to you and only you. Plead immunity from the community. Just man up and stay insular. No man is an island, true, but try to be a peninsula. To hell with pointless courtesy. There is no need to join. If you really want to take the knee, just stick it in your enemy's groin. I hope you got the irony of that. And, and the second event, I'm doing a show with Derry Playhouse Theatre in Northern Ireland. I did a show about the undertones in Derry Playhouse Theatre a couple of years ago. And they've invited me back to do a show about the wonderful Kirsty MacColl. If you're a Kirsty MacColl fan, I love you. If you're not a Kirsty MacColl fan, you need to start listening to her. And I'm doing a show called Reasons to be Kirsty through the Derry Playhouse on Thursday, the 18th of February. And again, I'm just a support act. There's an absolutely incredible singer-songwriter called Jess Silk who's going to do some of her own songs, and she's going to interpret some Kirsty MacColl songs. And I've been watching the film clips of her, and it's like Kirsty MacColl's come back to life. She's absolutely incredible. You'll have to listen to me prattling on in between, but it's a show called Reasons to Be Kirsty, and you can get free tickets on the Derry Playhouse Theatre website. But I've got a poem about Kirsty MacColl towards the end, and it's named after one of her albums. It's called Kite. This is for Kirsty MacColl, and it's from Bad Company's Little Red Book. Kite. You were our kite, taking flight to flutter like flotsam in a fragile sky. You soared to gorgeous heights, while moored to terra firma, tethered to the children who made you whole, unbroken and umbilical, mother's ruined miracle. Like lyrics torn from a beautiful soul, your DNA diluted in the bloodline of a wayfarer, a father philanderer carved in Salford granite. And you took us to another planet, where Elvis worked at the Chippy, under a Manhattan moon, and they don't know your innocence passed you by too soon. Love you, Kirsty. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Tony, and good luck with this Sunday with the assembly as well, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, great stuff. You put all the info on there, so all the info's on the chat. Okay, our next reader is Fatima Lisbeth. Welcome, Fatima.
Hi everyone. Thank you for having me back again.
Welcome.
I'm having a lot of connection issues, so I can't seem to use audio on camera. So I'll just be using audio if that's okay.
Yeah, by all means, go for it.
Okay, this is a short piece. It's one of the more personal pieces, that I've written. It's about my father. He was a really damaged human being and had a lot of addiction issues. It's called Daddy's Girl. Moments when I reminisce, ambivalent emotions coexist. Little girl who has her daddy's nose, daddy and daughter, you're the one I chose. Pacing the hallway at the parkside hole, anxiously awaiting until you woke, couldn't contain the excitement and hope. Bag of crisps and penny sweets promise, purchased with the 5p pieces. That's all the little me wanted. Daddy's girl, duped and deluded. Cautious child, eternally unsure. Didn't matter if your love was impure. One thing is certain, I loved you dearly before. Mentally plagued by that time you snapped. How you loved your sweet and savory snacks. With a cup of tea after your nap. Daddy's girl, deceived and cheated. Your love, plastic and fake. You watch as the last piece of my heart finally breaks. Couldn't believe you two were a snake. Forgiven the beatings and bruises, no matter how black, blue and abusive, that can't be my daddy, I plead. So it must be me, like you said, daddy's girl, naive and stupid. Wake up, the illusion is corrupted. Daddy's lies, notoriously destructive. He's self-centered, deceitful, and has no feelings, leaving you permanently disgusted. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Fatima. Thank you. Very powerful. Is that it, Fatima? Did you want to read another?
I just have that small piece today.
Okay, yeah, okay. You're welcome. Good to see you back as well sometime. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Okay, our next reader is somebody I'm sure I've seen Susan somewhere else before. It's Susan Darlington, everybody. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you for having me. I'm just going to read 3 fairly short ones today, if that's all right.
Of course.
First one, I think, I don't know about anybody else, but we've still got snow around here. So this is a winter poem that is looking forwards to hopefully better times, better weather. It's called Taste of Summer. She throws back her head, thrusts out her tongue and closes her eyes to savour the snowflake that melts there. A connoisseur, she says it tastes of summer, that it was formed from rain that fell in upland lavender fields. But the water evaporated in the high noon sun, rose into a cloud, and waited until this moment crystallised here, just for her. I roll a flake around my mouth, tell her I can taste nothing. She throws back her head, laughs until I see snowdrops in the hollow of her throat. Thank you. This next one, I think menopause is becoming more of a talked about subject. We've got lots of menopause cafes and everything around nowadays, but it still seems to be a slightly taboo subject, something that's not talked about that much in polite society. So this is kind of my contribution to that conversation. It's called Not Quite. It was summer when the blood came. My mother said, "You're a woman now." I started to cry. I didn't quite know what it meant, but I knew I didn't feel ready for it. I climbed back into bed, pulled sheets over my head, sought solace in the place where overnight I'd turned from a girl into a not quite woman. 30 years later, and it was winter when the blood stopped, the doctor looked at the test results, said, "Early menopause." I started to cry. I still didn't feel ready for it. And lying on sweat-soaked sheets, I mourned overnight the woman who has become a woman. Not quite. Thank you. And this last piece, it was written for a call from a magazine for a Halloween issue called House in the Forest. Mine went off in a somewhat different direction from all the ghosts and ghouls that other people contributed, but hopefully you'll enjoy it anyway. It's called The Last in a Long Line. I'm the last in a long line of ghosts, of women whose bloom grew diseased under the heat of the glass house, who lost their minds and scuttled barefoot over forks after being told that no meant yes all their lives, whose blood ran down their legs and was washed from view down drains after a crochet hook and 2 hot bath. I'm the last in a long line of ghosts who fought to dismantle this house and exercise who've lived here, whose matrilineal scars weakened its foundations and shook its dusty, cracked windows until its inhabitants woke from dreamless sleep. Now I want you to have the courage to enter and help me build it anew, brick by hopeful brick. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Excellent, Susan. Thank you for that. That's great. Thank you. The last in a long line of ghosts. Great line. Thank you. Okay, our next reader is Maria Flatherty. Welcome.
Hi everyone, this is my first time ever of reading poems, so bear with me. Thank you for having me. And I'm going to do 2 short poems tonight. The first one is a little downbeat. I spent most of my maternity leave, well, all of it in lockdown, so it's about the lockdown and everything that's going on. So it's called The Lament. They creak when I move. What a heartbreaking sound. They've never done this before. As I look all around, checking no one can hear, I'm embarrassed, ashamed. I'm not used to this, I cry, my anger inflamed. To top it all off, both are covered in dust, 3 inches thick with an odour of must. They're my pride and joy, the envy of kings. What I cherish the most, my butterfly wings. Yes, I'm a butterfly, and to be more exact, a social butterfly. How about that? A party, a gala, a glitzy ball after dark, wings flapping like mad, having a lark. That's a lifetime ago, and a lot's changed since then. Social gatherings on hold until goodness knows when. Bring back the fanfare, even just a fraction, as I look back at my wings, gathering dust out of action. So yeah, it was a little bit depressing, but hopefully we're out of it. Thank you. The next one is more looking forward, so it's kind of tied in, but more upbeat. I wanted to finish on a positive note, so looking forward to the spring. So a short poem, and it's called Shades of Sunlight. Lemon petticoats, a daffodil display, flax and straw weaved, nest building underway, honey flowing freely, clever busy bees, blonde tresses sweeping in the springtime breeze. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Maria, and well done.
Thank you.
Being your first time, yeah? Keep at it, yeah? We want to see you back. Brilliant. Okay, I think we're doing pretty well, good for time. What I'll do is, I'll do something. I'll do a few short poems, and then we'll have a break. Okay, that's all right. I'll do 3. There's one. That's a sort of, I'll say a tribute. It's probably a bit too much, but I was inspired to write a poem by an Irish poet that I know from Northern Ireland. Well, she's actually from the border, from Leitrim, from Anna, down that way. And she had a big sort of spread in the local paper, and she said she was mortified, yeah, and that gave me the idea for the poem. And it's called, and there's a quote in it called, "You can't take the girl out of Leitrim," and that's what the poem's called. And it's just a series of couplets, and it's with particular reference. It's called Trish Bennett, and it's particular reference to a poem called "Raucous of Wings," and it borrows from that. And it's about where she grew up, and there's a reference to Catalina's and Sunderland's, and I didn't know this, but they're all sort of planes, and there used to be an airbase near where she grew up. So it's called "You Can Take the Girl Out of Leitrim." She was mortified by the amount of space she took up in the Leitrim Guardian. On its cover, in her red dress, splashed across a 4-page spread, a banner headline. She was mortified, but I didn't know why. The way she wrote about growing up on the Irish border, the Bealow Glade, the racket made by House Martins, Catalinas and Sunderlands, clearing their throats, rattling bones, locals shielding eyes, looking skywards, sacred hearts stirred, but never shaken. Cheers. I had this horrible feeling then that I was on mute. My second poem is when, seems like a long time ago now, but I was in the barber. My barber's a good barber, right? Well, take it from me, he is. And but you have to wait a long time. And I was just reading things around the barber shop for inspiration, and this is what I found. I wrote a poem called "Skin Fade." We specialise in African, European and Asian hair, a sign in the window says. While he cranks up my chair, I ask the barber, what about Australians and Americans? Those poor frozen souls from the Arctic Circle. Where can they go for a short back and sides? He sucks his teeth and says, damn fool, in his playful way. Above the drone, he calls in patois to a dreadlock colleague who firmly manoeuvres ahead of a scowling customer, and both barbers bellow, and I laugh too, even though I haven't a clue what they've said. What'll it be? What's it to be? The barber speaks to my reflection. I can't decide, I reply, and read aloud from a poster on the wall featuring handsome heads and shoulders. Between a foul hawk sunburst, sculpted high top, skin fade, or my usual comb over. Our last poem is a tribute to sports commentators and pundits. And some of the lines are actually things that were really being said, and it was sort of quite nonsensical, and it sort of gave me the idea. And the title is something that a pundit said, and the title is "There's No Mud Without Flames," and this is what the poem's called. There's no mud without flames. There's a fine line between defeat and losing, and I should know. Coming second best 5 times, 3 my fault, the other 3 not. It's a laughing shame, but it all went grape-shaped, my hunger for gold, because money is the root of all potatoes. My bicycle's front wheel crossing the finishing line, followed closely by the wheel at the back. I don't like self-praise. There is no mud without flames, but I was superb, the fastest runner-up of all time. Alas, it wasn't a world record, a bitter pill to juggle, losing 5 without winning. Although I'm reluctant to be harsh or point the ear at somebody, it was my teammate with his indecision who may, or may not, have cost us the race. If this stays the same, I can't see it altering, living in a goldfish bowl, swimming against the tide. But as with all young athletes nowadays, a teammate is only 18 and shouldn't be hoisted out to dry solely against the run of play. After all, he is irreplaceable, even if there are several cyclists in the wings who can fill his saddle. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, lovely to hear everybody in the first half. Looking forward. I'll post the second half, and we'll see you. What we're looking at 20. It's 20:42. We'll see you at 5 to 9, if that's okay. Gives everybody enough time to do what they need to do. See you at 5 to 9. Cheers.
Gordon, are you still doing your nights on Zoom, on virtual? You're muted, mate.
I know. No, not at the moment. What's it? Because of the music content, really.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't always come over great, so.
That's a hard, yeah.
Yeah, so, but...
You're missing it then?
Pardon?
You're missing it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But managed to do other stuff, but, you know, yeah. So, might bring it back in future, see how it goes.
I'll have to get there when we come out of lockdown. I've never been.
But it's worth it, Mike. Always like going down there, I do. Amanda likes to cake there, don't you?
What have you got hidden behind those?
That's my Thai massage parlour, mate.
Is it right? I thought, yeah.
Part-time job, Mike, is it?
Yeah. It's on the sly though. I haven't got a license or anything.
Yeah, we won't tell. Obviously, like I said, social distancing and stuff.
I like to create a sense of intrigue.
Yeah.
You certainly do, mate.
Is that like where you don't say, could you just step behind here? And...
Oh, brilliant. Alan, I was going to ask you, have you had your first injection yet, have you?
No.
They're not called you in yet, have they? So,
no, I've not caught one yet.
I've had one.
Have you?
Yeah, good.
Right. Yeah.
What did they do, Mike? Give you a big elephant needle up the bum, did they?
No, Andy. I don't know what programmes you've been watching. It's not like that. It's a little.
You're too young, Alan.
I wish, Bryden. Yeah.
Get to us around about April or May, I think, maybe June.
Okay, I'm going to pop the running order for the second half. I've just popped it onto the chat, but it's Steve, Mingle, Mike Booth, Gordon Zola, Ben, Ant, Fokkina, Reggie, Bridie, Esther, and Rich. I haven't left anybody out, have I? Okay.
Ben.
Steve.
There's a guy called Ben.
Yeah, Ben, I've got him there. Sorry, Ben Wilkins. Yeah.
You've not put Amanda on your list there, Steve.
Amanda. I think I had Amanda on the first half, you know. I think I might have.
Yeah, you swapped it round, that's why.
Might have taken place. Might have usurped her. Okay. We'll have Amanda on between Mike and is that okay? We'll have Amanda on between Mike and Gordon Zola. So Amanda, you go on third, if that's okay. We'll break it up a bit. All right, then we'll get going. If that's okay. All right, then. To kick us off in the second half, it's Steve Mingle. Welcome, Steve.
Hello. Hi, right. I've only got one today because it is a bit of a long one, but I have got a friend with me, and would it be all right if they did a very short poem after I've done mine, as you've had a couple of dropouts? All right, thank you. Okie dokie. Well, for various reasons, I've been feeling a bit nostalgic the last few weeks. It's actually quite a good coping mechanism because you don't really want to be thinking about the present, and the recent past is really depressing because it reminds you of all the things that you used to be able to do and can't anymore. That led to me putting this piece together, which is basically going back to me as a 12-year-old, where basically I lived for Saturday afternoons. And this is the story, or this is a piece about a typical Saturday afternoon and the smells and the sights and the sounds that I would have experienced. And it's called Main Road Match Day 69. A week at school wished away until at last it's Saturday, match day, Main Road Match Day. Solemn commitment to worried mum. I'll be okay, I'm meeting a school chum. Usually a lie, sometimes true. Most times I don't, now and then I do. Bus to Piccadilly, the 219, passing by the Courtauld sign, straight to Lewis's department store, TV showroom, 4th floor, an array of tellies for sale or for rent. A small crowd gathers, all male, one intent, to watch football previews in colour, a proper treat. Then through the gardens to A-Town Street for the football special, a red route master, though some days you could walk it faster. Unshaven men with unwashed hands wait for custom at burger stands. Stained white overalls define their style, not seen Purcell for quite a while. Grubby nails on nicotine fingers, haven for germs to thrive and linger. Burgers stacked in a tepid lake, laced with fag ash, almost opaque. Not exactly items to savour, like soggy cardboard with slightly less flavour. Vegans hadn't been invented yet. But if they had, you can bet they could have dined here safely, apart from the obligatory tummy upset. Floodlight pylons, an arresting sight, frame moss-side drizzle in vibrant light. Fumbling pocket for half a crown, through creaking turnstiles, put the money down, programme cellar, refreshment stand, last few coppers clasped in hand, flat-capped men clutch cups of Bovril, repulsive odour fills the nostrils, not a drink for little boys, Kiora orange, that's my choice, money less than wisely spent, real fruit content, 0%. Now time to spend another penny, but so few facilities for so many, cascading rivers of metabolized booze, fag ends hurtling along like canoes, shooting the rapids, though this water's not white, the stench unspeakable, that can't be right. Is this what it's like in a man's world? All set to ascend the stairway to heaven, to watch my heroes 1 to 11, hordes of eager trampling feet pound on steps of crumbling concrete. Disintegration into rubble can only mean impending trouble. Paint peels on rusting railings, glaring health and safety failings, never properly put to the test. Fingers crossed and hope for the best. Ibrox, 2 years on, 66 die. There, but for the grace of God, go I. Out come the teams to do their worst. Opponents first, always opponents first. Bring on the champions, the Kipax boys roar, even though we're not champions anymore. But we are still pretty damn good, even on a pitch awash with mud. No names on the back of those shirts of sky blue, but I don't even need numbers to tell who's who. Bell's athletic imperious stride, Lee chest out, bursting with pride, Young floating with balletic grace, Buck's hunched gait and unlikely pace. I gaze out in awe, mesmerised, images to be forever prized. Crowd disturbance, a sudden buzz, rival fans on the loose, here come the fuzz. For those around me, a huge distraction, but my eyes stay firmly on the action. People lean across for a better view, and I just think, what's wrong with you? Our games aren't on telly, well, hardly ever, so blink and you'll have missed it forever. Giving morons the oxygen of attention, well beyond my comprehension. The final whistle, don't see me for dust, sprinting away to run for the bus. At speed through dithering crowds I go, sit next to someone with a radio. Final scores and reports from familiar voices. If United have lost, the whole bus rejoices. At last Piccadilly, will the Pinks have arrived? Was that first goal offside? Will they say Franny dived? Read the pink on the bus, cover to cover, even the letters page. Why do these people bother? Relentless banality, always the same, from armchair experts, never go to the game. Walk home from the bus station, knock at the door, mum's there to meet me, she knows the score. Mood wholly dependent on how well we've done. Tea always tastes that much better if we've won. Then the Avengers and match of the day, followed by Sunday, grisly Sunday, the looming grim spectre of school on Monday. But Wednesday evening, we're at home again. Another trip to Main Road is my week's only aim, planting the seeds night after night. Please, Mum, it'll be all right. Some lads from school are going. Thank you. Okay, I've got this. I know you're not supposed to invite people into your home in these times, but there's this guy who's had a particularly difficult time over the past few weeks, and being the nice public conscious person that I am, I decided to let him come in, and he'd like to perform a little piece. So I can just bring him up for you here. Just get the there he is. Right now, this piece is the battle, the ballad of Desperate Don. So hopefully I can get his backing music going for him. Just a minute. There we go. They call me shithead, they call me fuckwit, they call me bullet brain, they call me twat face. That's not my name. No, that's not my name. No, that's not my name. No, that's not my name. They call me racist, they call me sexist, they call me homophobe, they call me bigot, they call me bully, they call me tyrant, they call me rapist, they call me terrorist, they call me bellend, they call me narcissist, they call me shameful, enemy of democracy. That's not my name. No, that's not my name. No, that's not my name. No, that's not my name. They call you powerful. They call you mighty. They call you POTUS, Mr. President. That's not your name. No, that's not your name. No, that's not your name. No, that's not your name. Now fuck off and don't come back. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Shut the team things up. Sorry about the overrun there. Right.
All right, mate. We'll alight for Donald. Okay. Brilliant. Next up is Mike Booth.
I knew I'd have a tough job following Steve when you read out the running order.
No, you won't.
You bugger. Right, slight change of tone. This first one I wrote in the summer, and I don't think I've ever read it before, and it's called The Secret Glade. And it dreams of summer, I suppose, and sunshine. I've been given this precious time with you, and just want to share how I feel. The real or the better filtered into some image of me which I can believe. Not dull, mundane, hands in the suds, or peering at screens or pans I'm a scrub, but something weird and yet true, which means I become bigger than me, that matches my image, my vision of you. For both are carefully planned and built in mind's eye as I try to find a way to follow my new path, my perfect world view. A dream or two, just take my words through your ears and build a world and tilt the way you feel to curl around my words. Lift as I gently place my hand on your spine, fingers cross, clasp and slowly entwine in a dance or a waltz of sharing the view. Get rid of the false and let in the new. Find sparks which ignite the tinder dry wool and thoughts which will burn through me and through you from railway tracks to sharply turn and find a new path through woods unknown, which takes you with steps so blessed by the dew away from the false and into the true. My route is strange, but familiar too. My words are my guide and my compass through. They tumble and fall and stumbling too. I follow my heart and let the mind flow like trickling stream into a new pool, which gathers and swirls before bursting anew out of a rivulet, pure and so blue. And here the path widens, and then narrows too, with twigs and with mossy pine cones a few, thorny branches to step over. Carefully you have followed my lead as we find a small glade of long grass and flowers, of sunlight and shade, where beams fall soft on brown leaves and green, a secret place where no one has been, where no one has trodden except me and you. But we lie there contented in warm autumn sun, laughing and talking, our journey is done. A new life and vision is what we have won. The world is refigured by walking this path. Our travels so lonely are now done at last. Our eyes sometimes meet, and they water too. We lie there all evening in glow of the sun, for gone is the old world and come is the new. Old life now is echoes. There's just me and you. Thank you. I'm going to get my cardboard cutout now, but failing that, I'll just read this short one. I read a book about 3-4 years ago called Fuck It, and I highly recommend it. It's therapy for disillusioned men, and it teaches yoga positions like slumping on the sofa with the remote control and stuff like that, and it's very entertaining. And this became my new philosophy. It's kind of why I started writing poetry and reading poetry. Even if it's not great, I just thought, fuck it, I'm going to start writing poetry. So this is called Fuck It, and it starts with a reference to Paul Simon, and it ends with an epitaph of the Earl of Rochester. So you don't get many poems like that, do you? So I was sitting in Widnes railway station when I wrote it, and some of you might know Paul Simon wrote Homeward Bound in Widnes railway station. I'm sitting at the railway station, life's meeting all low expectations. New philosophy, half full bucket. My way forward, just say fuck it. Don't hold back or hide your talents. Go for life and keep your balance. Just remember, long time dead. Your only breaks are in your head. Your angry chimp can't hold you back. Best form of defense, attack. So watch out, world, gonna live each second. From past the grave, success is beckoned. Pain and death are my new teachers. Fun and laughter, my life features. Long empty days of agony tasted, new now seconds filled and not so wasted. Give me raisins on my cake. Let sweets and candles decorate. Friends, life, love, my trinity holy. Find smiles fast and frowns more slowly. Love and be loved is my new motto. Eat and drink, but don't get blotto. Life's a gift, a treasured present. Past is gone, future's distant. Life's a joke and all things show it. Thought so once and now I know it. So laugh and smile through snow and rain. You'll never pass this way again. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Thanks, Mike. Thank you. Next on is Amanda Steele. Welcome, Amanda.
This first poem I wrote for a competition, the prompt was to write an acrostic poem and to make it sound like you're praising someone, but it spells out an insult. So it spells out too little too late, and it's called Boris the Saviour. The day Boris locked down, one goal to save us all, one result, we are saved. Locked down in time to prevent the mass deaths. The vulnerable look on and cheer. Everyone loves Boris, the saviour of the UK. Only the best intentions for us, only doing everything he can. Long flights cancelled on time, acting quicker than the flash to put this COVID-19 to an end. And my last poem is a poem I wrote in the workshop with Andy, and the prompt was "The universe is a house party." The universe is a house party, and I want to go home. I don't want to be here in this corner as everyone else dances like the world's not ending. The universe is a house party, and I cover my ears. This song is not mine. The beat is all wrong. Can somebody change the record? The universe is a house party, but I feel like the only sober one, watching everyone else in a drunken frenzy. I've lost sight of the doors, and the walls are closing in. The universe is a house party, but all I want now is to go home. And that's all I've got for tonight.
Thanks, Amanda. Thank you. Okay, next up is Gordon Zola. That's it for Gordon. Welcome.
Hello there. Yeah, feel like Ronnie Corbett in this chair. The cats have nicked the city, so yeah, so I know my pecking order. My two offerings are about love, because February is the month of love, and love is in the air. Well, it would be if I had hair, but and this is about love with a difference. Because my first offering is about my unrequited love for a Six Music presenter. Oh, I'm in love with Mary Ann Obbs. Her voice is so serene, a rainbow dancing on a mountain stream. I can only dream. But Mary, I've been untrue. Before you, I listened to Cerys Matthews and Loris Baverne. But I had to learn the error of my ways, because I was obviously tuning in on the wrong days. But now you are my one and only. But I must admit, I still like Radcliffe and Maconie. Oh, I'm in love with Mary Ann Hobbs. Her choice of music is sublime. It can't be a coincidence it gels with mine. It must be a sign, but alas, I know that sign says no entry. So my love for her is elementary. And I'm not so blind that I can't see that our love was never meant to be. But Mary, please Mary, if you hear my plea, would you play Tainted Love for me? Okay. Now, this is about my second love, computers. Not. Because I am to computers what Pretty Fratelli is to compassion. I make Luddites look like IT consultants. But through being shit at computers, I've come very familiar with 3 controls. Control, Alt, Delete. And I thought, there's a bit of a rhythm there. Control, Alt, Delete. So I got to thinking and I thought, what if a gangster rapper took an IT course? It probably won't be anything like this. I'm a boy from the hood, I'm the king of hip hop. I'm gonna turn you on, babe, till you beg me to stop. I'm gonna steam up your windows till they're burning hot and you'll come alive when my hard drive hits the spot. What are you saying? The sister interrupted. She won't respond if she feels corrupted. You can't impress her with the size of your tower and she won't succumb to your macho man power. I said, chill out, babe, I'm doing fine. She said, well, why won't the cursor remain on the line? I said, there's no margin for error. She says, the error is your margin. And if that's the size of your text, boy, it needs enlarging. I said, Control, Alt, Delete. I may lose my text, but I won't lose my beat. I said, Control, Alt, Delete. I just go with the rhythm and I shuffle my feet. She said, you gotta slow down, boy. She ain't no toy. You gotta treat this babe with affection if you want to make the right connection. You gotta treat her with ease. Press the right keys before she lets you log on to her internet. I said, look, sister, you're filling me with rage. I'm a hometown boy. I don't need no home page. I'm a main man. I don't need no babysitter. Why the fuck do I need Facebook and Twitter? She said, you may be the main man, but you ain't got it sus. This PC's a babe, boy. She don't like to be cut. You gotta treat her good, give her lots of love bites before she lets you log on to her wicked website. And you may be the king of hood and house, but when it comes to this, babe, you're gonna be less of a man, more of a mouse. And if all you can do is moan and mouth off, you can't log on, so you might as well log off. She said, Control, Alt, Delete. You got no style and you got no beat. She said, Control, Alt, Delete. You got no rhythm in your 2 left feet. I wasn't gonna take that crap. You can diss me, but you don't diss my rap. My text no longer vanishes from the screen because I gained my revenge on that pussy of a machine. I was determined to make the bitch pay, so I blew the motherfucker away. So they shipped me off to the funny farm, said, son, this will stop you from doing more harm. And they put me on a course of meditation, said this is part of your rehabilitation. And while I was tripping in those altered states, I looked through more windows than George Formby and Bill Gates. I said, Control, Alt, Delete. I may lose my mind, but I won't lose my beat. I said, Control, Alt, Delete. Just go with the rhythm and I shuffle my feet. So now I'm back in the hood because the shrink said, "Hey boy, you're doing good. That vaccine we gave you was experimental. Your destructive tendencies are not detrimental. Because with those personality traits, you could become the next president of the United States." I said, "Control, Alt, Delete. I could blow up the world, but I won't lose my beat." I said, "Control, Alt, Delete. I'm biding my time, but I won't lose my beat. Control, Alt, Delete."
Gotta say, that was fantastic, Gordon.
Brilliant. Loved them, mate. Great stuff all around there.
Pardon?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Gordon. I was sort of, you had me with rhyming Twitter with babysitter, so thanks for that. Thank you. Highly entertaining as always, mate. Thank you for that. Okay, next, our next poet reader is, well, not necessarily a poet, is Ben Williams. Welcome, Ben.
Oh, hello. Yeah.
I'm not sure whether this is part of the installation, Ben, or whether you're proving Gordon's point. You're really dragging me.
Ben, you're in trouble with it, mate. Knock off your video.
Ben, we really can't hear you, mate. Maybe I'm suggesting we just have audio for your set. Hopefully.
Backwards.
Hopefully he'll come back. Yeah, it's pretty frustrating, isn't it, for people when they I
think we've lost him, yeah, Steve.
Technology. Well, hopefully.
Gordon Zola.
Well,
that's your fault.
I blame Gordon Zola.
I blame.
Yeah, thanks, Gordon.
Alt control delete, yes.
Am I there now?
You're here with crystal clear, mate. Crystal clear.
That's much better, Ben.
All right.
Well, you were crystal clear.
Where is...
We're struggling, mate. Really, we can't hear anything now.
Right, this is called Bedridden.
Okay.
In the up with the chamber pot.
Yay.
You're on mute, mate. That's all.
Am I?
That's it.
Is nothing coming through?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. We can hear you now, mate.
Yeah, it's fine, mate.
Like a
In
balance.
the upstairs. Right. Bedridden. In the upstairs room with a chamber pot where the walls have shriveled and the curtains rot. Days age like youth, slip away, mumble, mumble, mumble. Something good happened here, like a chick fed under meat it barely knew. I'll do another one if I'm all right.
Yeah, go for
it. 3 people. I know who they are. I know where they live. Not on speaking terms. 3 people. It's none of my business. I've lived here 11 years. A lot's gone on. Some of it. Well, don't get me started on seriously, what? Seriously? I know a few people. 2 can play at that game. I mean,
This is it's so avant-garde, isn't it? You know. Do you think he's gone? Is that part of the act?
Yeah, I think he's gone, Steve.
Well, what I heard, I liked actually. It's just, you know, but that's a shame. Oh, he's back.
He's back again.
We might be here a while. All right, Ben. Have you finished? You finished?
Sorry. That's. Why did it do that? Just when it. Shall I carry on?
How many more have you got, mate? Yeah, we're just struggling to hear you.
That's it. I'm done.
All right, mate. Thank you for that. Sorry we couldn't get a better reception for you. Thanks, Ben. Okay, thank you, Ben. Next one up, our next person, that's going to be a difficult act to follow, but I'm sure this guy can pull it off. It's Ant Briscoe.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? It's not a problem with Zoom, is it?
No, I can hear you, but yeah, I can hear you. You're clear enough, mate.
You're very faint, though, Ant.
Yeah, just turn the speakers up.
Oh, just give me a second. I am using something different. Let me just turn my Bluetooth off. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to be on BBC Radio Manchester on Saturday between 7 and 8 o'clock at night. They're doing my poem There Is a Place Beyond the Trees, and I'm being interviewed about it as well. Huntington Drama Club also covered it recently. It's a poem about mental health and getting through adversity. I usually write comedy, but for some reason that's struck a chord with people, so it's going there. If anyone wants to do it, if they hear it and like it, let me know. You have my blessing, not a problem. But for tonight, I've written a really good poem about Boris Johnson. But you see, the thing about that is I'm going to do it next week rather than this week when it's actually needed, and that's the poem. So I've also written a poem about loving lockdown. I don't have that. But it's a poem about what you'd write in lockdown about love. So it's very quick. Hey girl, I want to meter you. Talk about all the things that we used to be able to do. Go exercise in the park so I can somewhat not quite socially be distanced beside you. Although inside I really want to hold your hand. Sanitizer. I could make you happy, make you laugh, make you smile, I think, behind your mask. Every time I get a message from you, you make my heart race because I'm actually worried it's a message from Track and Trace. And I'm not looking to rush into things as life seems to have slowed, so I'm afraid our relationship has had to be furloughed. This is a very quick one called Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, a day in which we say I love you to those we hold dear in our hearts with words written by someone else in cards. I'm just saying, as poets, it's time we cash in. Another one quickly. This is called The Shit Yourself Parade, and it's from a load of headlines that I read a few years ago. And I'm going to read a few bits and you're going to be a bit close to the bone, but it was at the time normal, but now it's quite weird. Global warming is getting faster. We're heading for another economic disaster. There's yet again been another mass shooting. We can only expect another summer of looting. There's a possibility of pandemic from the Zika virus at the time. Your children being radicalised and Miley Cyrus. Holiday travel disruption going on for miles. The BBC, the 70s and paedophiles. The weather's getting more extreme every year. Political unrest and North Korea. England leaving Euros rather quickly. Len Goodman, he left strictly. Tesco beat we can't endorse. It's about 80% horse. Then there's ISIS, the terrorism crisis, the cost of fuel, energy bill price rises, internet stalkers with an ashamed persistence, the collapse of the NHS and antibiotic resistance, war in the Middle East, the fragility of peace, the number of calories you take in, the number of the beast. The reason for life is an unanswered mystery, unlike what people think if they saw your internet search history. Hackers hacking in and breaking security codes. Winter's coming in, we ain't got enough grit for the roads. Are we all going to die of the common cold? Well, we are living in a country that's getting increasingly old. Katie Hopkins said something that's way out of line. We're living way out of line. This change in public opinion and the rise of hate crime. An asteroid could hit us and wipe us out in second if we don't already do that with our own nuclear weapons. Immigrants are coming in to take in your jobs. Sight is crumbling and football yobs. Pirates taking over cargo ships. Victoria Beckham kissing a kid on the lips. Children getting fat and eating too many sweets. Poverty porn and Benefit Street. The price of 100 London houses and the increased price to rent. And the fluctuating figures of unemployment. Potholes in the road. Now there's an annoyance. Not as much as I would argue as corporate tax avoidance. The rainforest being cut down, the loss of trees, and just what is killing all the bees. Rising ocean currents, coastline receding, misogyny, and public breastfeeding. Situations that arise when no one expects it. The Panama Papers, and of course Brexit. Then the severe localised mudding, severe localised flooding, fake security checks on cars, lone gunmen at large, uncertainty in trade. And because we haven't heard from him for like 3 minutes, here's Nigel Farage. And I've got one more if I've got enough time. Do I have enough time? It takes about a minute.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, go for it, mate.
This is what I wrote in a workshop with Andy. He gave me, I got 4 words, which was celebrity, anniversary, distant island, and supplies. So this is about Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay on a boat, off to a place remote, chef clothes and several packs of fresh strides. And his kitchenware was always in his pack of supplies. But this was different. This was new. He actually went somewhere without a TV crew. He went off on his own, not even to research a book. It's like the famous question says, if a Ramsay makes food in a forest without a TV contract, does he actually cook? For days he stayed, he hunted, he gathered, made alcohol out fermented pears, stayed in the sun too long, got bladdered. He was expanding his knowledge of culinary recipes, but then suddenly one day he stopped. He forgot an anniversary. He was ever so upset. I mean, how could he forget? Oh, fuck, tragic, yeah, he said. And then there grew another furrow upon his brow and his head. So he jumped back in from his boat, from his island that was remote, to a local airfield to catch any sort of plane. I can't believe it, he said. I forgot again. The only flight back was with EasyJet. He thought, fuck it. Well, if that's all I can get. He boarded the flight quickly, going straight up the stairs. The flight was awful, hardly any chairs. And that's how we got the programme, Gordon Ramsay's Budget Flight Nares. That's me. That's me.
Thanks, Anne. And hope everything goes well on the radio. When is it again? Have you got a time, mate, for it?
It's on this Saturday between 7 and 8 o'clock on BBC Upload, and it's a poem about. It's not technically covered. I wrote about mainly depression, but it really resonates with people.
Brilliant.
So if it helps.
Oh, I know it's poem you mean, mate. You've read it a couple of times or two, or a couple of times or 3 at speech.
Just took off for some reason, so I'm happy to push it. I'm trying to make a movement out of it about mental health.
And do you want to mention the video of it as well? Did you mention that before? Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. There is a video. Well, there's 2 videos. There's one that's on my actual Facebook. Anyone here is welcome to add me, Anthony Briscoe, ANTHONY BRISCOE. I performed it 2 years ago after I came out a very long year of depression. But also, it's been covered recently by Huntington Theatre, Huntington Drama Club. They covered it, and they got 40 people involved, including the Mayor of Huntington. I work for the charity Mind and some youth leaders, and I can't say too much, but a few other groups are interested in possibly making their own videos too, so they may come out in the future as well.
Right.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck with everything. Thanks, Anne. Okay, that's brilliant. Slight change of pace now, I think. With our next writer, our next poet is Fatima McDowell. Welcome, Fatima.
Thanks, Steve, Andy. I'm going to put the camera on. The internet has been a bit unstable, but see what it does. And I'm going to put it in the chat. The competition is just open, but I am judging this year the competition for crew and district writers. It's a small competition where the committee were all published poets and writers. They picked the shortlist, and then I picked the 3 winners from the shortlist. So you can enter online, and I will put the details in the chat.
Thanks for being. Stretford's near Crewe, so I'm good.
Yeah, so I think crew is sort of local, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got a really new poem, which is about, it was meant to be about worrying. So it's a little bleak, but a short film about killing. Worry beats didn't do the trick, not enough to fill the alphabet. Alcohol, breakdown, control issues, death, denial, Egypt, exile, fucking hell. That voice says, you're off again. Yes, me, we have never known, and time is shrinking, the difference between rocking chairs and being off your rocker. Something about rocker or rocket switches, electricity, chairs again. The film that ended the death penalty in Poland starts with a dead rat in the gutter, the silhouette of a strangled cat, laughing boys running away. The name of the director escapes me. It was a series made for TV from the 80s. Don't worry, it'll come back to me. And this poem, Family Bible, is after a poem by Heidi Beck. So the sort of concept comes from her poem, Family Bible. Genesis, Darwin may or may not have written about giraffes. The day I first saw them, I knew they were family. They've roamed the savannas of Africa for millions of years, peaceful, sociable animals. Songs. My father had been paid a small sum. The tune he'd composed was going to be broadcast on national Dutch radio. That day, war broke out. Planes flew overhead. Exodus. My father's father had a German name and was a master baker, hence those loaves. My mother's surname was Visser, so they were destined to get together. Ecclesiastes. For everything there is a season, summer and winter for sex, drinking, singing. My mother is manic in spring and autumn. They throw words and furniture at one another. Jonah. 40 years at a family firm, Beaver Bronze. Empty-handed on a beach, no pension to speak of. Probably my father again with his costly bipolar wife. Job. Was he the one who lost everything? Yes, that makes sense. After he died, we discovered my father had been robbing Paul to pay Peter. Thank you.
That's excellent stuff. Thank you, Fokkina. Thank you. It's great to see you. Okay, we did okay for time. I think we should be finished on time, and we've got 3 more people. Our next writer is Reggie Agula.
Hi.
Welcome, Reggie.
Drink.
This one's for Captain Tom Moore. Drink. All right. So it is dark days, so I've decided to just do one. That's not so dark. Let me just create some ambiance here. Okay, that's better. Okay. So this one is called A Dream. Drink. Here we go. A dream. A man has a dream, and in the dream, the man has a dog. Outside the dream, the man has no dog, nor has he ever planned to own one. The dog is neither big nor small. Its shape is blurred from the purposeness unknown to the man. The man squints his eyes and can vaguely see that this blurred down vision is in fact a brown dog. A man is walking a dog, and Rupert was his name. They are walking a cobbled street with houses to the left and houses to the right. The dog pushes the lead and turns his head every 5 seconds to the man, staring at the man in the eyes. The stare soon becomes a glare, and the glare becomes unease to the man. The dog's breath mutters in the thin air, "Lenore." "What?" thinks the man. And once again, "Lenore." And 3 times again, "Lenore, Lenore, Lenore." "What is wrong with you, you beast?" the man utters under his teeth. But the dog is unshaken and continues his walk, only to once again turn his head and mutter under his breath, "Beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful." What? Terror made me cruel. What? Maybe everybody in the whole damn world is scared of each other. What? Nowadays, people know the price of everything and the value of nothing. What? We need never be ashamed of our tears. What? My dear, I don't give a damn. Oh, fuck you, Rupert. Stop reading the classics. Drink. Thank you very much. That's all I got.
Thanks, Reggie. It's a good backdrop. Oh, where's the Northern Lights gone?
Wait, I'm gonna go on holiday now. Hold on.
Okay.
There you go. I'm gonna. I'm back in Didsbury. There you go.
Okay. So thanks for that. Good stuff. Our next reader is Bridie Breen.
On mute. Thanks very much. It's been a really enjoyable evening. Right, I've just got 2. I wrote one on Imbolc. It's between winter solstice and spring equinox. So we've had that this week and I've enjoyed it. Imbolc calls to rebirth within. A goddess of fertility and fire still burns into my spirit. Nature and instinct align. Spring opens a portal door, breathes life into my Celtic core. Those women gone before us, heroines of their time and space, captured dawns, strength of sun, cupped mooned horizons, and each day unfurls a truthful grace. A way of courage imprinted on forged paths, deep trodden into heart and mind, soaked up blood, pained bones, reaped in death of yesteryears, an arrow shot through infinity, aimed to pierce ice, enlivened soil, a release below pushes upwards towards the light. Imbolc flows through my veins, carves its initials on the life tree of my heart. Thank you. And I was in the garden today, because we don't get snow in Prestwich, it seems. I was on rabbit watch because 2 doors up from me, 2 little rabbits have been eating all my grass and my spring buds. So I took a front and sat at the table to scare them off. It did work. So I wrote one when it did start splashing with rain. Why do I run from the rain? So often I run in from the rain as if I'm about to melt. Today I remained and told self, a sprinkled lawn and this new spring smelt would be good for flowers sown and perhaps wholesome to soul. So I lingered a while longer and reminded the inner me that rain is good, that I am good, buds are awakening, garden birds appearing, succulence of spring has begun, and blackbird song will soon be sung. I should upturn head and open my palms and indulge myself. So I did, sit still, just feel it tip against bridge of nose, tap cheeks, drumming a sound that vibrates in mouth, contains winter chatter in my teeth and speaks of newness to come, drops dripping in time across forehead, a backdrop stage to dance dreams of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, music in every drop against ground, grass, aluminium and me, eyes closed, unspun tears rolling from lid to throat, not a whisper of thought, must go get my coat, face wettened from a fresh spring shower of rain, spirit so uplifted. I must do this again and again. Thank you.
Thanks, Bridie. I must say I didn't know what Embolt was until I looked at your Facebook post this week. So thank you for that, and thanks for your lovely poem about it as well. Okay, then I think we're down to our last reader. Thank you for being patient, especially those people who read later on, including Rich. So thank you everybody for being patient. So our last but by no means least is Rich Davenport. Welcome, Rich.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Really enjoyed it tonight. Brilliant stuff. Am I audible and everything? You can hear everything?
There you mate, yeah.
Nice one. I'm going to do 2 tonight from my book, Gormless, which lives up to its name. That's available now, and there's a percentage from every book being donated to the ME Association. I've got ME, I wouldn't recommend it. And I've got 2 for you now. Speaking of medical things, this one it was inspired by my favourite member of the Monty Python team, Graham Chapman, who actually was a real-life GP, who was qualified to give people mind-altering medications, which is quite scary, really. This is called The Doctor Will See You Now. I'm unable to see you without an appointment. Until then, I can't give you a spray or an ointment that comes in a tube or a tub or a canister for the splinters you got as you slid down the banister. And anyway, as I've told you before, if you slide with no pants on, then you know the score. Don't come banging on my door with agonized shrieks if you cannot be bothered to care for your cheeks. I'm afraid I will have to refer you elsewhere. I agree it's impressive you still have the pair after strapping the fireworks between them like that, but I'm not a psychiatrist. Look at my hat. It says doctor in letters as red as your swelling. And what prompts your strange urges, I have no way of telling. Now, the appropriate nurses are coming to catch you, so sit still while I fire this tranquilizer dart at you. I'm afraid I must close down the surgery now. The authorities are on to me, I don't know how. Oh, this foolish talk that I'm not a real doctor reminds me of when I was a nun and they unfrocked a few of us simply because we had beards. My henchmen were heartbroken, some were in tears. And now lawyers and lawmen are screaming, malpractice. Well, they'll never catch me. They can sit on a cactus. Thank you. Thank you very much. The medical field, this is, I have no way of explaining this really, it just popped out. It's called Fear the Anal Dentist. Terror strikes like lightning, you're strapped into the seat. He flips the chair upside down as fear hotwires your heartbeat. You should have been suspicious when he said take off your pants. Now he's going to meet your end. Your life is in the hands of the grim Reaper's apprentice. Fear the anal dentist. Obsessed by dental hygiene until his mind was smothered, he snapped and can no longer tell one end from the other. His victims' acrid flatulence as they are scared to death does nothing to deter him. He thinks it's just their breath. The grim Reaper's apprentice. Fear the anal dentist. Trying to insert the drill when fear drives out a turd, he says, please put your tongue away. He will not be deterred. Driven to a frenzy as he probes you underneath. His frantic search is fruitless. He can't find any teeth. The grim Reaper's apprentice. Fear the anal dentist. An evil plot is hatched. Into your crevice he will venture. He can't find any teeth in there, so he'll fit a set of dentures. He glues them in securely. You can pull your cheeks apart, but these new teeth are there for good. They're for good. They'll chatter when you fart. The grim Reaper's apprentice. Fear the anal dentist. Now his work is done. His desire is not to kill, unless you miss a checkup, in which case he surely will. He wants you brush them twice a day, and if you dare resist, you're going to meet a sticky end at the hands of the anal dentist. Thank you. I've got time for one quick one.
Yeah, go for it, mate. Yeah.
Okay. Right, this is called Miss Ranson Entertains. Esther Ranson took a chance and dropped her pants and danced the dance, and everyone around were quite impressed.
She danced quite brazen, not afeard. The crowd that gathered, clapped and cheered, until a constable appeared and threatened swift arrest. She said, I love to strut me stuff, but now I think I've had enough. This wind's quite breezy up the chuff. She curtsied and got dressed. And so, to please the policeman, asked her, smiled politely as she dressed herself in thong and thermal vest. By jingo, she looked fine. And then, job done, she sped away. But still, years later, people say they happily recall the day when Esther's moon did shine. All from me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. You've been marvellous.
Thank you.
Fantastic, Rich.
Thanks, Rich. Thank you. Great way to end an evening with lots of fantastic readers. That's brilliant. All I've got to say is thanks. I'll hand you over to Andy, who will have some parting messages, I'm sure. Thank you. Oh, Andy, actually, he's got a problem with his microphone, I think. Yeah, he's just saying that, if we just have a look at the chat, if people want to book a slot for the next speakeasy.
I've got no sound, guys. I don't think you can hear me.
We can hear you.
We can hear you now.
That's the loudest mute I've ever heard in my life.
Andy, go.
Can't hear me.
We can hear you now. We could hear you.
There you go, Andy.
Anyway, the next speakeasy is the first Wednesday in March. If people want to book a slot, if they go through Andy, as usual. And anybody want to say anything else before we go? Have everyone plugged everything we need to plug? Yeah, okay, brilliant. Oh, so it's lovely to see everybody.
Just thanks very much, Steve, for comparing. Great job.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed tonight.
Thank you so much.
Really enjoyed it.
Really good.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Stay safe.
Drink.
Drink.
Bye.